Hey guys, this is Ress and Nique, and this is She Wolf Alchemy. And today we're doing questions that nobody asks, where we go around the internet. We got a couple of advice forms, got a couple of questions from the advice forms from people who are asking questions. People who are asking questions, not particularly for us, but they're going to get our answer anyway. And so this is about where we read over the questions from advice forums and we give our personal take on what we think they should do. So I'm going to start with the first question. So this one goes, I'm struggling in my relationship and need outside perspective. I'm currently pregnant and unmedicated for bipolar 2 because of the pregnancy, which makes everything feel even harder to regulate emotionally. But this situation feels wrong, even taking that into account. I recently found out my boyfriend was using porn and lying to me about it. And what hurt most isn't just the porn, but the repeated deception and patterns around it. Before this, we used to have sex 2 to 3 times a day, and I never felt unwanted. But over time, both before and after I found out, I noticed I was having to beg for sex on multiple occasions. I got to the point where he would wait for me to take my son to school when I'm only gone about 30 minutes, just to watch porn instead of having sex with me before I left or after I got back. He was also looking at thirst traps on TikTok after making sure I unfollowed every man on literally every social media platform because he thought it was disrespectful. When I confronted him, he reassured me, promised me he understood how much it hurt me, and said he would stop. But later, I found out that that was a lie. He continued anyway. To make things worse, I found out after I got pregnant that he cheated on his ex wife of 6 years with me, which completely changed how I see his behavior now. We've only been together 7 months, not years, and this already feels like an abnormal amount of secrecy, lying, and sexual disconnection for such a new relationship. I can't help but feel like this pattern is a gateway to cheating if it hasn't already crossed that line. And finding all this out while pregnant has completely shattered my sense of safety and trust. I'm left questioning whether my feelings are valid, whether I'm ignoring serious red flags, and whether trust can realistically be rebuilt after repeated lies during a time when honesty and reassurance matter so much. So, I am going to say trust your instincts on this. If it was just porn and thirst traps, I think I'm personally, and I know a lot of women are split on this. I did not realize this was such a huge thing that women were split on. I personally don't have a problem with partners watching porn. It is
Mhm.
not a big deal to me. It's not a big thirst traps aren't a big deal to me. I get caught up with thirst traps every now and then. Every now and then I see a beautiful woman. I was like, well, goddamn, what is she doing? So I get that. Um, but where I kind of go, wait a minute, is but you're not allowed to follow any men.
Mhm.
It's disrespectful. That is control. Also, that is cutting out his competition while he still do whatever the fuck he wants to do. The
Yeah.
next red flag I'm seeing is a decrease in his sex drive. So I don't know how old you guys are, but this is a thing I'm seeing come in a lot right now. We're having a lot of young men have erectile dysfunction. We're having a lot of young men. Like where it used to be something that like you didn't really think you had to worry about until you were dating men in their like 50s and up. You're starting to see men in their like mid, early 30s struggling with erectile dysfunction. And I've been to a couple of different trainings where, clinicians have brought it up and talked about it because a lot of us are seeing like, we're having clients come in like, I don't understand. I feel, because it can feel really rejecting as a partner when you're like, is it me? Do I not do it for you? And so a lot of clinicians have been talking about it. And basically, what we've been hearing in the field is like, sex addiction, porn addiction is a big part of it. Not for everybody, but we're seeing a lot of young men who have been watching porn since they were 13, who have been jacking off like 6 times a day since they were 13. And now, like, it is just hard to get there. This is why we're also seeing, according to research, this is also why we're seeing an increase in like really extreme types of porn. And it's because, again, if you've been watching porn since you was 13, jacking off several times a day, and now you're in your mid 30s, like after a while, missionary ain't gonna do it for you. And
Mhm.
so I was like, wow, lesbian porn is not like you're increasing it to like, I need some extreme shit to get me off now. Anyways, with this being said, we're seeing a lot. We're seeing this happening a lot for a lot of people. And so I will say that that can be a part of the decrease. But I think the icing on the cake was if all these things were separate things, it's like, okay, well, But because you have all these things, it's like the trifecta of girl run. Like,
Yeah.
he don't want you, you're not allowed to follow other men because it's disrespectful. Okay. Oh, but he's allowed to follow other women. He can watch porn. He can lie about it. He can watch thirst traps. He tells you he won't, and then he does. Okay. Oh, now he's not performing in bed when y'all used to have sex like 2 to 3 times a day on the regular. Okay. And then you got the final one, which is, oh, wait, you were in a whole marriage when we met, and I did not know this. It was never revealed to me. You have me now sitting up here pregnant. I had no idea. I ruined a marriage. Girl, run. Girl, like, I'm not seeing anything in here worth saving. It'd be one thing if it was one of these things, and I get it. I get it. I was pregnant when I found out my partner, like, we were living together, like we were planning a wedding, like we had joint accounts and everything. And I remember finding out some news I didn't know about my partner, I'll say, while I was pregnant. And you know what happened? His ass had to call Nique. His ass had to call my mama. He had to call a whole bunch of people because when he got home, I had already got a hotel. I had already called the University of Oklahoma because that's where my parents were to see what it's going to take for me to transfer like, I had created a whole plan by the time that man came home. Because I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not doing this shit. That man didn't know where I was for like a week.
And was scared.
Yeah, it was calling everybody like, hey, she's not responding to me. Um, and that was a way lesser offense than what you're going
Mhm.
through. And anyways, the only reason I bring that up is to say I know as a woman when you're pregnant, feeling like, well, I can't leave because we're about to have this baby. And I'm here to tell you, hey, actually you can. You can. Now, I will say me and that person, we did work it out for that time being. Mostly because the University of Oklahoma was gonna waitlist me for a year. You know, to be honest with you, that was like 50% of the reason why I was like, well, guess let me work this shit out. But um, and I was this close to graduate. I just needed one more semester.
Mhm.
I will say though, like I get what it's like to feel like you get caught off guard with something when you're pregnant and feeling like you're building a whole relationship with a person. Um, and there is the option of leaving. I'm not telling you need to get up and leave, but what I am telling you is that this is a person who has consistently shown you that he's one. Um, he is a hypocrite because he is telling you what that you can't even be friends with nobody that's a male on social media, while he is not only watching porn, which he told you he was not going to do, and he's watching thirst traps. So there's some hypocrisy there.
Yeah.
And also, I have a fear that he's trying to isolate you from other men.
Mhm.
Then we find out also that he has an addiction. That's what that is. He, if he is cannot have sex and he's sneaking away to who will have porn, that's addict shit.
Mhm.
That shit
Mhm.
that addicts do. But no, you go around there so I can go smoke real quick. No. Let me find an excuse to sneak and do this stuff in the bathroom. He has an addiction.
Yeah, he
And
does.
then now we know that not only is he willing to lie to you about something major, such as being in a marriage,
Mhm.
but also we now know he has a very recent history of cheating, and y'all don't know each other very well. It's only been 7 months.
7 months, yeah. I agree with everything you were saying, but, like, the thing that was, like, the worst was the marriage, of course, but then the fact that he's trying to cut everybody off is some guilty conscience stuff. Like, I don't want her to do what I'm doing to her. I don't want her to give the options.
I mean, maybe there is a possibility that man is not cheating, but that man is definitely cheating. Like,
Yes. He's definitely cheating, or he just can't get it up anymore, or a little bit of both because he has this sexual addiction. So he probably can't even have sex with her anyways, from what we talked about, everything that's very common right now in that at that age.
yeah,
If you do those things a lot. So I would definitely be like, okay, he's cheating. And the fact that she is diagnosed with, is it bipolar?
yeah,
Makes it even harder because you already low key have some types of postpartum when you got the baby in you and you're trying to like maintain everything. But the thing is, like you said, I agree. You definitely can leave. It might be safer for you to leave, especially since you already have a kid and you having another one on the way. And the fact that you never knew that he was cheating. Like, you never knew he was married. So Sissy's probably already
Mhm.
cheating on you with the next one. You just don't know. It's no reason for her to stay, and it doesn't seem like a safe environment either
Look,
to
it
me.
really, and again, it's cut your losses. I'm such a big believer in when somebody shows you they have major red flags in the beginning, you don't need to stay longer to figure out how many or how red that flag actually gets. I feel like women set themselves up um, by being like, well, when there's such huge things in the beginning, and be like, well, no, I'm gonna make this work. And it's like, baby, y'all don't have serious ties, right? I mean, y'all have a baby. That is true. Yeah, that is true. That would have been great to find out beforehand. But like, you don't need to. We had an episode called oh gosh, what is it called? Oh my gosh, we had a whole episode on it. We had a whole episode on like women feeling like I put this much effort into it, so I'm going to stay until
Mhm.
I can get at least something out of it. And a lot of times, all it does is end with you having more debt. And when I say debt, I'm saying emotional debt, trauma debt, more than financial debt, but also financial debt. And we have this mentality of like, but I bought this boat, so I'm going to stay on this sinking boat. You don't have to sink with the boat. There are life rafts. Get on the raft. Get a life jacket and swim to shore. You don't have to stay on the boat. As somebody with a trifling ass father, let me tell you, when you find out a man is willing to lie to you about serious things, it does not get better. There are worse things he is lying to you about.
Mhm.
Get on your life jacket, get on your life boat, swim to shore, paddle your
Sail
ass to shore. Do not
sail
stay on
away.
a sinking boat.
Don't do it. Sail away, sail away, sail away. Yeah, because it's nothing good's gonna come out of that. And did she expect him to step up for the child once she even have the child? If he's
I mean,
I don't
and that's the whole other like, you know me, I'm very, very pro choice. And not telling her no, this is not to say to tell her to like abort the child, but I'm just saying to say like knowing who you're about to procreate with is so important. And like sometimes knowing them is like, oh, they're a good dude, or oh, we've been dating this long. But sometimes there's a thing where you're like, oh, wait, I got to make major life decisions with them. Because that's the thing when you have a child with a person, it's not just I have to like, oh, see them at drop off on Saturdays. Like, if that child gets sick, you have to make major life decisions with that child. If you get a new job in Cali and you live in Atlanta, you have to make decisions on. Some men will bring you to court and have a whole order filed where you cannot move that child out of the state. You want to know what you're getting yourself into. And it sounds like you just realize, oh, I don't really know this person. That's what I'm hearing. I'm pregnant with
Mhm.
this guy. I love this guy. I am slowly realizing I don't really know this person.
Yeah. Yeah. And going back, you can't even take your baby out of the country, like, for vacation because that man has to sign a waiver. It's like
But me and Nique both got our baby's passports.
Mhm.
And so, like, yeah, I got my baby's passport. And like, yeah, I had to go get her dad to sign off. And of course, me and her dad are cool. We have a great co-parenting relationship for the most part. So it was no issue for me to get it. And Nique also, had to get hers as well. But for Nique, because her late fiance passed away, she had to like you had to bring his death
That's
certificate.
yeah, mhm.
Like, there's so much that ties you in that I think we don't think about. This person is telling you right away. So this isn't to this lady. This is just to the women listening. I don't care if he's such an amazing lay and he's so funny. He got really good genes. Really think about how this man might have to impact a lot of other major life decisions I'm making. Is he somebody that I can rely on to not be trifling when I have to make these major life decisions? I feel like I have run into too many people where they're just like, oh my gosh, our baby gonna be so cute though. And then you're just like, this man about to make your life hell. This man was like your life hell before.
Yes. Yes.
The state
Intense
of
time.
Georgia gives you 6 weeks. Hurry up and make a decision. Like there's things we can do.
I think she's already way into it. I think she's
She
far
is.
along.
She's not. But our advice is run. Our advice is get on their jacket and go. Again, if it was one of those things, okay, that's workable. But all of it together, and again, I know there's probably gonna be somebody out here listening that's like, well, don't y'all so quick to tell these ladies to run, and y'all so as somebody who sits and talks to anywhere between 50 to about 130 different people a month about the things they're going through. The consistent theme I have seen when it comes to relationships is people realizing they should have ran sooner.
Mhm. Mhm. And
And
didn't
I
li and didn't listen to
and then
themselves.
listen. And I know we like because right now attachment theory is still like all the buzz and people like avoided and the anxious and da 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 da. And yes, those are real things. It is not avoided when someone is clearly giving you a blaring red flags, multiple red flags, and you decide, you know what? I know where this is going to head, and I don't need to be curious. I'm not George. I'm not a monkey. There's no reason for me to be curious about shit.
I'm not George, I'm a monkey.
Let's not
So
get
for
it.
real.
Let's not
For
get
real.
it. They don't need to know all this shit. Anyway,
Right.
that is our response. Nique, you got the next one?
Yes. So, I'm looking for advice or perspective from people who experience grief alongside new relationships. My boyfriend died June 24th, 2021. We had been on and off for years and were back together for about 4 months when he passed. He struggled with depression, occasional substance abuse. His death was ruled a suicide. He had been drinking and took pills that I believe may have been laced. The night he died, I was supposed to pick him up. We were arguing and I didn't go. I carry a lot of guilt about that. And I think it's a big reason I haven't been able to fully move past his death. Since then, I've been in other relationships. I've been married twice and now have two children on the outside. It probably looks like I should be over it, quote unquote, by now, but I'm not. My current boyfriend doesn't understand why I still think about or miss my late boyfriend. He tells me I need to move on, stop looking at photos, and stop talking about him. He's even said that if I miss him so much, I should just dig him up. That comment really hurt and stuck with me. What makes this more confusing is that my current boyfriend also has a deceased ex. While we've been together, he has written to her in his notes, kept naked photos of her on his phone, and continues to grieve her. Just not openly. I've tried to be understanding of his loss, but feels like there's a double standard. Like his grief is allowed, but mine isn't. I also struggle because my current boyfriend has lied a lot during our relationship, and my late boyfriend never made me doubt him. When things are bad in our current relationship, I find myself thinking about how different things might be if my late boyfriend were still here. I'm scared that no one will ever love or care for me the way he did. I generally can't tell who is being unfair to who. Don't know if my grief is bleeding into our current relationship in an unhealthy way or if I'm being asked to suppress something very real while being expected to accept the same behavior from my partner. I don't want to live a stuck in the past, but I also don't feel like erasing someone I love deeply is the answer. Has anyone else dealt with losing a partner and then trying to love again? And do you hold space for grief without it destroying your present? And how do you navigate this when both partners are grieving someone they have lost? Um, so of course I have gone through this. I never fully, I guess I would say, been in a new relationship. But I mean, I've been in situations where it could have affected, but it wasn't a committed relationship. She had lots of relationships. So I always think in my head, like maybe eventually I'll be okay. But I don't ever feel like the thought of the loved one will ever fully go away. It might be unhealthy to compare, but I don't think that she's ever going to stop reminiscing. I don't like the fact that the boyfriend also is grieving somebody, but kind of like the last question is like a double standard. And they don't like you can't grieve him, but I'm gonna keep naked pictures of her. Like this seems so disrespectful. But the thing I found odd because when I first was like fresh into grief,
Mhm.
I used to think it would be so much easier to date somebody that was in the same situation as me and they would just understand it. At least
Mhm.
that's how I thought it would be. I never thought it would be a competition because you know so well what I'm going through. You can respect mine and I can respect yours and we can be great. It just seemed like it would be great, but it's not really that great in this situation. I
Mhm.
do think she needs to seek some type of therapy. Sometimes it's easier to talk to people who's outside of the situation, or even if you just want to talk about him because you're having a bad day, you're thinking about him. It's easier to talk those feelings out with somebody outside of the relationship. I have dated guys that were really open to it and was really there for me, but who knows if they were talking about it behind my back, like this girl can't get over this man. Because I mean, they were who knows, but they never gave me grief about it. They never like talked me down on it. One in particular, like I would cry and everything, and he was just there. But who knows if he could really handle that, or who knows if that's the reason that it didn't go further. You just never know.
You
Go
know,
ahead.
all of our exes listen to the podcast. That man is probably listening to this right now. Actually, has several problems with that. You know, I didn't like that shit. You gonna get an
He
angry
was
text
like
message.
behind your back, like get over this shit.
Oh gosh, the way I need y'all to stop fighting the podcast. Lord, Lord, if all y'all could stop fighting podcasts.
Please, please, please.
But I'm sorry, continue on with your delusion. Yeah, he was fine with it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He was. Man, I don't know. I mean, I don't. I
No, I know
even
what
if
you
he
mean.
wasn't, um, one in particular wasn't, but even if the other one wasn't, they always let me talk about it. It would check on me and see if I'm okay around that time. Even if he wasn't, the fact that he still respected me and
Mhm.
allowed me to have that space without any judgment or without any bad feelings or ill will, I feel like some guys can accept it. It's always gonna be hard. It's always gonna be hard. But I think the person that is for you might accept it, but also encourage you to talk to other outlets as well as he can accept it, but other outlets will help because sometimes it is like way it may be way too much for your person um to handle. And I do understand also the grief about like, oh, I should have picked him up. Cause I know for me, I used to be like, oh, I should have just stayed in the same state and just stay with him until the very end and never left his side. And so I had grief about that often. So I understand that part. But again, I definitely encourage if you don't go to grief counseling, if you don't go to regular counseling, I encourage that to help. But I also feel that your partner should be able to hold some space for it. I think. I really feel like that. It
I
shouldn't be I feel like it should hold some type of space for it.
I agree with you. Now, we don't know to what level she's doing it, and so
True.
I don't wanna make a blanket statement, but this is an area you know way better than I do. I do think you can have find partners that will hold that space for you and allow, but also you have to know your limit. If it is
Mhm.
like that's all you're talking about, if it is everything's a comparison, if you are staring at his picture all day, you just might not be ready to date. And
That's
that
right.
might be a hard reality that I mean, also, if he's still looking at her pictures and stuff, her naked pictures, that'd be one thing if you were looking at her picture. Okay, but if he, I don't know, he might not be ready to be in a serious committed relationship either. And to be honest with you, he might be getting mad because, yeah, you think he understands, but him understanding is like, because he miss her, he want his baby back, and that's why he don't want you doing that. Because he like, I don't want you sitting up here really wanting to be with that man. How
Mhm.
I'm saying is, it depends on the level, I would think because the way you're describing his level, his seems very inappropriate. Should
Yeah.
not still be looking at naked pictures of that woman. Let her rest in peace.
Mhm.
But like Nick said, I think you can find people that will hold space. I think you can find
Mhm.
people peace. And it just might be that this is just something that's going to be one of those things that's like makes or break the relationship for y'all. It might not be worth. Personally, I don't think shoving your grief is fair to you, nor is it fair to them. Because here's the thing about grief, it sneaks up on you. So even when you think I'm shoving it away, I'm not going to think about it, blah, 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 it needs to be felt. It wants to be felt. It wants to be felt thoroughly. And so trying to just like push it away for the sake of another person, one, that's unfair to you. But two, it's going to come back. You
Mhm.
might as well
Mhm.
allow yourself to do the full process now. And if he is somebody who can't do the full process with you, that might not be the person for you right now.
I definitely agree. And we have to like figure out the levels. Like for me, it's not like a everyday thing.
Mhm.
And if somebody was just crying over somebody every single day, I personally don't think I could handle that either.
Yeah.
But it's moments. And for me, I think I did the work as like going to counseling and talking to somebody um around grief. We talked
Yeah.
about grief. Other things we didn't really talk about. But around grief, we kind of hit that part. So um I pre-warn. I might get a little emotional around this time, for the time that's gonna come. I'm very vocal about how things affect me. So it's like the right person for sure, but you definitely have to just be open and very, very open about your feelings around it. And yes, like pre-warn them just so they can understand or just um explain those feelings and how things are affecting you and how they might affect them too along the way. But again, I feel like the right one will hold space for it.
I'm sorry, did I miss that? She said she was still crying every day?
No, but I'm just saying, like,
Okay.
we don't know how much she's crying.
Yeah, yeah. If you're
We don't know
crying
how
every
much.
day but if you're crying every day, you're not ready to move on. If you're
No.
still crying over every day, you should probably still take some time to yourself to grieve that properly. It's unfair to you and it's unfair to that person.
And the thing is, too, she has had other relationships since. Like, she has whole children, and I think she said she was married before. So she has had, like,
Oh, shoot, let me go back to
what
oh,
is
you're
that?
right. I've been married twice before and now I have 2 children.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm able I think the big reason I haven't been able to fully move past his death. Since then, yeah, that sounds like a therapy thing. Because what I'm hearing her say is I'm stuck on it because I have a lot of guilt. Uh,
Mhm. And she has to have the process of forgiving herself. She has to have a
yeah,
process of mentally letting, like, seeing herself let this go. Because
yeah,
if you've been married twice, you have children, and now you're in another relationship,
yeah,
that's so far gone. You know what I mean? Like, lots have happened, and you still kind of dwelling on it, which could be a lot. And the only thing I think that fits that would probably be therapy. 'Cause
mhm,
I
and
still have my guilty, and I still have times where I'm like, if he was here, I wouldn't have to deal with this. I do have those times, but I'm not with anybody either. So
yeah,
yeah, therapy might help for sure to mentally let that go.
yeah,
Not let him go, but let the grief of or the guilt of it go.
yeah, yeah, I agree. Oh, okay. So the next one goes, my cousin has recently had a baby, and of course I'm happy for her. But I just can't help but feel jealous because of how happy her life is, as she's gotten everything she's ever wanted. She has her own house, her dream job. She's engaged and now a mom. Meanwhile, I'm almost 29. She's 22. Still living with my mom, no job, and no girlfriend. I have been jealous of her for years and other people because I want those things, except the mom part because I'd be the dad. But I just feel like my life isn't going anywhere. And I'm always going to be this way. I know I'm basically thinking, oh, poor me, but I just can't help how I'm feeling right now. And the reason I picked this one in particular is because I've seen a lot of people come in with that, especially for those of us that are millennials. A lot of us got the short end of this stick. A lot of millennials, especially the ones born more in like 89 to like 93, because I think 93 is the cutoff. A lot of us did not get the dream that we were promised. Some of us snuck in there and was able to make the thing happen, but a lot of us did not get the dream we were promised. And I feel like I hear this a lot. I see this a lot. I have felt this myself as well. I just feeling like, damn, I work so hard. I do so much. Where's my fulfillment? Why does it feel like everybody else is getting fulfillment but me? So I get that feeling very hard. And I just want to say, allow it's okay to feel that way. Do not
Mhm.
be hard on yourself. From what you're saying, it sounds like you said, like, again, I'm not jealous. I want her to have that. But again, both feelings can coexist. I can be happy for them. I also recognize it feels like the universe is like taunting me right now.
Mhm.
And it feels hard when you feel, especially if you're one of those people where you're like, I did everything the right way. Y'all told me to go to school, I went to school. Y'all told me to make good grades, I made good grades. Y'all told me to get to go to STEM, I went to STEM. And then you're like, and I'm so unhappy and I'm still not getting the things. Y'all told me if I did all these things, I would get a loving partner. Y'all told me I would get the house, I would get a great job, and I'm not having that. And going back to grief, allow yourself to grieve that. So many
Mhm.
of us don't realize there's a certain narrative that we have about ourselves that we've built up in our head. There's usually a certain narrative we have about our future. And there's something heartbreaking that happens when you realize I might not get that narrative. That thing, that idea of what I thought my future will look like might not happen. And honestly, I think one of the most freeing things for me, and not to say I still don't have my moments, this eclipse beat my ass. Lord, the eclipse beat my ass so bad. So I definitely have my moments. But I think the thing that really helps me for the most part is I let go of the narrative of what I thought my future would look like, and I'm now just open to possibilities. The only thing my narrative now says is, and I will be happy and I'll be well taken care of. My daughter will be well taken care of. Those
Yeah.
are nice. That I'm not willing to compromise on. That I'm not willing to allow the universe to do anything on. And outside of that, it is because let me tell you guys something. When I first went to grad school, I went to grad school to do therapy. By the time I got done, I did not want to do therapy. And I did advocacy for a while.
Mhm.
I have full plans. Before 2020, I had full plans to get into policy work. Like I was even looking at policy programs. I was looking at policy certificates and programs I can do to kind of help. I was networking. One of the reasons I went into government, I was networking because I was like, okay, eventually I want to make this move. When I tell you, if you would have told Rest of February 2020 that you gonna end up doing therapy again, I would have been like, ain't no fucking way. Because at that time, I didn't even want to get my clinical license anymore. I had my associate license. I had no plans on getting my clinical license. I would lie. Be open to, and as much as I have some issues in the therapy field, Lord knows, some fucking frustrations. It still allowed me so much more freedom than I would have if I did take the policy route.
Yeah, for sure.
I make my own schedule. I'm able to be at all my baby stuff.
Mhm.
Y'all need a parent to come volunteer. I'm there. Y'all did not send out any information about how y'all having a school parade and the kids need to have this very super hyper specific outfit for Monday. Guess what? I have this flexibility that I can move around things in my
Mhm.
schedule. I can make that happen. And so while my future is different, also, you could have told me in a million years I was going to have a podcast. I'm like, I don't like telling people my business. What are you talking about? I am really kind of happy with how certain things unfolded. Of course, I
Yeah.
still want other things to happen. I want other things to unfold in beautiful, beautiful way. So
Mhm.
allow yourself to be open to a new narrative. Grieve the idea of what you thought you have by this time. Be okay, be gentle with yourself. And it's okay to grieve those. It's okay to be like, damn, it sucks that this person has that and I don't. I'm glad they do. Both feelings can coexist. Allow yourself to grieve and then challenge your narrative. Ask yourself, okay, then what can be the new thing I want my narrative to look like? Or you can just decide, I'm open to a different narrative in general. I don't need to necessarily write it. I just need my narrative again to be happy, fulfilled, and now I'm just gonna push to things and see what happens along the way.
I agree. I think like you were saying, like us as millennials thought it would look a certain type of way. I talked to so many friends, males, females, like they just like, I just didn't think it would be this hard. I just didn't think it would be like this. And I was like,
Yeah.
agree, man. Like, like we don't know. I mean, none of us was taught that it would, like at all. So like it's hard for us to accept it, move on, and just be open. I will say I didn't think a lot of the ways that my life is right now with different networks, with different communities, with different villages. None of it really looks as I thought it would look when I was 18 graduating from high school.
Mm,
So it's just like being open to see what's out there and just being more open. Like I had to like make myself be present in every situation and take every situation as it is. And just seeing what comes. Because I will say, like, I always say that I have to get adjusted to the new norm or the norm that I didn't know I had to get adjusted to. Even with losing my fiance, I'm like, I never felt like I never knew how to I never thought this was gonna be my life. Like, and I had to like keep reminding myself, but it is. So what we gonna do about it? We're gonna be in the moment, we're gonna accept what comes. And it's just now sitting in at freaking 38 in a week. it's just now sitting in, like, I'm okay with whatever comes. Like you said, you have your things. I want to be well taken care of. I want to be happy.
Mhm.
Last year, I was like, I want to be happy. I'm gonna make that happen, and it happened. Like I just had to stop dwelling on what I didn't have. But I definitely grieved the situation. I definitely cried. I definitely did some crazy, spontaneous things, trying to hide the fact that my life isn't how it's supposed to be. Started doing
Yeah.
some crazy stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that was it worth it? No. Let's reel it on in, and just sit in our reality and, like you said, just accept the things that's to come and trying to be okay with it. Well, for me, I just yeah, I'm more okay with whatever life brings me now, and I'm not trying to, like, dictate and make so many rules and make so many guidelines and this and that, and if they don't happen, I'm a failure. Like, I think we put so much on us as millennials, so much on us, so much. But it's because of my
Mhm.
parents, for real. It's because of our
We
parents.
don't, we, don't, we don't have time to go into that, Nick.
I'm just saying. It's like it's so high standards. Okay, it is what it is. It didn't happen. Let's move on. Some people don't know how to. Okay,
Can
go
I
ahead.
just, can I just say this is like off topic, but you know how you told me how you realized like your mom found the podcast?
Mhm.
I should have known that both of our parents. I told you years ago that my mom found the podcast. I kept trying to hide this specific one for her, but she figured it out because she nosy and she like looking. But I should have known that our parents found the podcast because we randomly have this like 1% of listeners that are like 55 plus. And I was always like, that's interesting. And I just kind of let it go. Kind of went about my way. And the more and more I thought about that, the more and more I was like, yeah, that make who else besides y'all mamas
Mhm.
actually
Yeah.
is sitting up here like, what these young folk talking about?
Mhm.
I can take that out if you want, but I just thought that was funny as you were talking. I was reminded of it.
No, yeah, that is it. That
So,
is it. But yeah, I love them. I love my Vivo because I feel like it's all because it was so much on us. So we always had all these high standards and we never thought we could fail. I don't ever think like millennials thought we had room to fail. That's why we're giving our baby so much grace. That's why we're giving our baby so much love. Cause it was just like we didn't really have room to fall down and hurt ourselves a lot.
yeah,
So that's why a lot of us are feeling like failures. I guess we didn't meet the American dream that we thought we were gonna have and that we were taught that we're gonna have.
yeah,
Um, but it's okay. But I don't really think I realized it was okay until 35 plus.
yeah,
Um, when life didn't happen how it was supposed to be, and I just had to be okay with it. And I am okay with it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
you still want all those things. You do still want all those things, but to have peace in whatever you have right now is a great feeling.
It is. It really, really is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I think that's all we have to say on that one. Allow yourself to grieve and then allow yourself to be okay with the idea that, okay, yep, this thing is going to look different and that is okay.
Yes. And be in the freaking moment as much as possible.
All right, Nick, you have the next one.
Okay. Pressuring me to attend the overseas wedding of an abusive relative who was the biggest bully in childhood as a family, yet again. The same cliche that never ages. I have not agreed to anything yet. What should I do? You should not go. Oh,
Boom.
okay.
Boom. End of question. We have nothing else to say.
Right. Right. But I get it, being from a family that we are very family oriented. I definitely had to learn how to have boundaries that were centered around me, my mental health, me and my mental health. And if I just felt like doing it, period. And sometimes I just didn't want to be around family because I know we can go back to grief. I was just in a sad place at that time. Or maybe I was just tired because I'm a single mom and it's really hard sometimes. Or maybe I personally haven't had a family member that I won't be around because they're aggressive. This is mostly about me just not feeling the capacity to do some things. And before I would just force myself to do it because this is family. But it took me again, 35 and up probably, to say like, no, this isn't good for me. And what is it gonna cost me to do this afterwards? And I'm gonna have to sit along in those feelings by myself with nobody to help me through them. So you
Mm,
really have to ask yourself, like, what is this gonna cost me afterwards?
yeah.
For you, Rest, you just don't give a F.
So,
For
I don't.
me, a person who is that was really, and I'm still in my family, but and they do good about accepting my boundaries now.
Mm,
But I had to kind of show it over and over because there's been times they would call, "Why are you not coming?" Because I don't. I'm so tired. I'm staying right here, and
yeah,
they were pretty upset. And I'm like, "Well, I just don't have it in me. I'm just gonna stay home." And they said, "Okay." And then it was just like it's no asking, or if I don't show up somewhere, it's really no, "You good?" I can get a "you good" text, but no, I just need to rest, or no, this is what it is. And I appreciate that to check on me, but not try to talk me into it. So I definitely feel like it's going to take practice. You might hear about it afterwards, or they might come on you saying this or that. But I feel like that's easier to accept them saying this or that to you than you being in that situation, being uncomfortable, going out of town and being uncomfortable and not even having a safe place to go because you're going to be surrounded by your family.
yeah,
So I just think it's just about practicing boundaries, and this could be your first time practicing it. Even though it's going to be hard, I feel like you will have a whole sense of relief until they get back home and you have to talk to them because you're probably going to talk to them. But you have a whole sense of relief in that moment that you make the decision that worked best for you.
yeah. I have nothing else to add. So yeah, no, Nick said it all. I say don't go. This can be our chance of practicing it. But also like I don't want to be overseas with no people that make me feel uncomfortable or make me feel
Yeah.
like they pressure me into doing things I don't want to do. I need to
Hmm.
be someplace where I know the culture, I know what's expected, I know where to go. Like,
Yeah.
I know that's family, but still, no, y'all come disappoint me in America. Like,
Hmm.
why do you need to disappoint me in Italy?
Yeah. And it's money being put into it, it's resources being put into it. It's just not worth it.
It's just
And
not.
even like, yeah. And maybe if you have a safe family member that you can talk about it too, that might reassure you. I think my sister is my safe person that I talk to, and she's like, you don't want to do it." Like she be a little hard on me, like,
Yeah,
"Okay, you're right. I'm just not gonna do it." You might need a safe person to help you have that safe person to let you know that it's okay that you don't have to go, and it was no judgment, it's no love lost. So yeah.
yeah. Again, like I said, Nick said it all. I have nothing else to add to this one.
We know.
Okay, so let's get to our last and final question of the day. So it goes, I have one friend left in this world. She works with me. I find her to be a good employee with some issues, but she absolutely messed up her work life. We both work here a long time. She has been treated unfairly, but at the same time, she keeps making it worse. First, she essentially got demoted from her job about 4 years back. That was wrong, but ultimately, she made it happen. She didn't do work she knew she had to do. Ever since then, they won't let her redeem herself. Essentially, they give her scut work and she keeps messing up. Now, they have stripped her of most of her work and give her very limited scut work. They watch her carefully to make sure she is doing it. She resents this. So, she fired off an email, basically being pretty rude to her boss. Why? It is in writing. She claims she wasn't trying to be rude, but when is she going to understand she has lost the ability to say that? No one believes her, and she is only digging herself in deeper and deeper, trying to pretend like she is innocent. I try to be supportive and point out that I wish I could trade places with her. She has very little work to do, and if she needs to take time off, she can. If she needs to be sick, she can. She should just ensure that the little work she is given is done immediately and to perfection. But her resentment keeps going in a doom spiral. Much of her problems right now is her attitude. But I can't say that to her, or I will lose her as a friend. But I wonder if not saying that to her will lead to her firing, and then I will probably lose her then as well. Woo! So, girl, this is a lot.
Mhm.
Um, you need to have the conversation with her. Y'all know I have said this multiple times throughout the show. Like, I'm a believer in don't have hurtful conversations if they're just hurtful and there's nothing that can be done. And I've always said that about like, yeah, if I think you ugly, like, there's nothing you can do about you being ugly. There's no reason I should sit you down and be like, hey, I do not find you physically attractive because that's just hurtful. There's something they can really do about their face, right? In most instances, there's not much they can do about their face, right? But if there's a hurtful conversation that you need to have, even though it's hurtful, but it can help them. Even if it doesn't necessarily have to, people can walk away, but there's a possibility that it can help them have that conversation.
Mhm.
And I think this is one of those where you kind of have to have that conversation. Years and years ago, when I was in my 20s, I had something like this happen. I had a friend, we did not work at the same job, but that's how we met because our jobs, we had to interact with one another. And so my job constantly had me interact with her job and her company. And we became really, really close friends. And then she started having issues at her job. And it was her fault. Like, don't get me wrong, the company was trash, my company was trash, her company was trash, the companies were trash. That was, yeah, that was all around, but she did a lot of things that made it worse. And then it became a series of her doing a lot of things just throughout her life that was just making life hard for her. And I had a several times. I had conversations with her and be like, "Hey, I'm like, I will let her vent. I'll let her get all her little stuff out, and then I'll be supportive in that moment." Because when a person is venting, when a person's like going off the rail, having a spiral, that is not the "I told you so" time.
Mhm.
So let them have that moment. And then when she's calm and it's maybe a day later or something, circle back around. But hey, so I know you're going through it, and so I want to let you have your moment, but I'm concerned you are about to derail your life off the tracks. And with the person in my life, I had to have that conversation like 2 or 3 times, because it was happening in multiple areas, and
Mhm.
I was just like, "Hey, I don't think this is a good idea. I know you're telling yourself this is a good idea. I know you're telling yourself that you're just keeping it real, but, like, you are about to keep it real all the way out to you being homeless. You about to keep it real all the way out to you losing a really good partner. You're about to keep it real to the point that, like, you are not gonna be able to backtrack on some really big high career stuff that you worked your ass off to get. You're about to put yourself in a position where
Yeah.
you are burning bridges that you don't need to burn."
Mhm.
And they weren't always receptive. Sometimes they were receptive, sometimes they were not receptive. It ultimately did end our friendship. Not so much that I had the conversation, but they just they became a firebug. They could not help but burn every single thing around them. But I'm always glad, even later, a couple years after, I had to end the friendship, they sent me a message and they basically was like, "You were right. I was burning things. I hope you're well. I just want you to know I got better. I want you to know, like, I did the work, blah, 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 blah." But they did appreciate that somebody in their life. Now, I won't lie, it took a couple years. Like, I think I hadn't talked to them in like 4 years when they sent me that message. But I was the only person in their life that called them on that and let them know. And so when they were ready to do the work, they remembered it, and they remembered, like, "You know what? Maybe I do need to reflect." Because the people that know me well, the people that know me the best are saying, like,
Mhm.
"Yo, you're doing some stuff, so maybe I do need to reflect." And that might not be their personality. They might not be a person who does that. But like you said in there, it sounds like there's a chance you'll lose her anyway, so you might as well do
Mhm.
the right thing by giving her a warning.
Mhm. They might not be able to accept it, but at the end of the day, I feel like you can do your part, and like you said, you might lose them regardless.
Yeah.
So what is the like, might as well take the chance to try to help them get on the right track before you do lose them. Like, let's
Yeah.
try to figure this out. Even me, I can sometimes be stubborn, but I do take the time to reflect, and I honestly rather hear it than not hear it at all. Like, if I feel like I was, yeah, even if I'm, yeah. But if I feel like I'm going down the wrong track, like heavy, 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 and then nobody tell me, I think I would ask, like, why you just ain't tell me? Why you
Yeah.
just ain't tell me? So I feel like it's better to just open up and tell her, especially in a situation like you said, it's a possibility that the friendship may not last, but you're helping her with this job, and then you're helping you as well. Cause I think it's something that's just like on her mind so heavy. Like, it is better to get that out anyways and help see her through it. Um, Regardless, you might lose a friendship, you might not, but you can never say you didn't try. And then if she did leave and you never got to tell her, you're like, dang, I should have just, you would never have the coulda, shoulda, wouldas in there either. So go ahead and talk about it.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, so I think that's all that we have for today's episode. We hope that you guys enjoy. And yeah, we'll have a new episode for you guys next Sunday. Bye.
Bye.